Welcome back to Sports on Tap. I'm your host, James Laney, with my co-host, Kyle Johnson.
It's poppin'.
And my co-host, Ryan Fahey.
Oh, let's get it, gentlemen.
Glad to be back. Once again, before we start, we're on YouTube, so please go subscribe, like our videos, follow us on all of our social medias. We're also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, so go listen to us there. Follow, subscribe, like, and please share if you enjoy what we're doing. Well, speaking of the NFC East, let's bring it over to Washington. Huge upset beating the undefeated Steelers. Once again, what are the takeaways from this game?
So my big thing, to give the Steelers the slightest bit of a pass, they were coming off of they had 4 days of rest while Washington had 7. Not an excuse. You still need to go out and beat that team. You're the better football team. However, 3 days rest is it's the NFL. You're gonna feel it. I'm sure they were sore. I'm sure it was, whatever, but that's not an excuse.
You're an undefeated team.
I agree.
Like, you're an undefeated team. I don't care if they played the next day. That team is called the football team. You beat them. Beat them. But the takeaway I get from this is that Washington front five, legit. Like,
Ron Rivera, they found
legit.
their coach too with Ron Rivera.
That's very true. Very true. Well, also, he hasn't missed the game. He was also going through cancer treatments. Talk about teams who are buying into their coach. That's one of them.
Yeah,
I respect Ron Rivera.
100%. He didn't miss a game. He was getting chemo.
All they need is Dan Snyder to get the hell out of that.
They're only getting started on Dan
that
Snyder.
building.
So my big takeaway from this is not so much the Steelers, but and not even exactly the play of Washington, but just how mentally tough this team is. Think about what they've gone through the offseason. I'm gonna read through it real quick. The name change one, so that's not huge, but you know what, a name change. But this is just everything that's add up to it.
Yeah.
We don't even have to get into that, but all the allegations against the owners, then their coach gets cancer, doesn't miss a play. They're a 4-7 team going up against the undefeated Steelers. They were down in that game at 1.2, so it's like Alex Smith, the mental toughness he has to come back and win this game, and just his whole comeback. This team is just so mentally tough. Are they the most talented overall? No, not even close. Front 5, yes. Or front 7?
Front 7, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I messed that up. But yes, that is talent. But besides that, there's really not too much in this team overall. This is a less talented team, but it's like they've bought in, like you were saying about the Giants. They have bought in, and I know it's kind of opposite of what we said, these teams suck, but you know what? The mental toughness of this team, what I have seen against the Steelers' undefeated season being ruined, props to them. That was just unbelievable what they did. I had them getting blown out. I didn't think they stood a chance. That O-line I thought was a good matchup for that front 7. They've been playing well all year. The mental toughness overall, when your coach is going in there every game, doesn't miss a single game or practice because of chemo, and he's still there during chemo, you buy in because he's giving it his all.
Yeah.
And and then your quarterback who's playing, he came back from a 2-year leg injury.
Alex Smith is the
people thought he
toughest
almost
son of a
lost
bitch
his life.
He almost died.
Exactly.
He almost died.
So how do you not buy into these kind of guys? It's like, hey, we might not be the most talented.
Did you see his leg yesterday?
Yes. It's like they're gonna give it their all because their leaders are giving it their all. And yeah, to go off of that, his leg, Alex Smith's leg, not the one that was injured beforehand, but was bleeding profusely, and they ended up wrapping it up, and it's fine. He's gonna be okay. But he got back in the game and ended up beating the Steelers. The Steelers defense, I think, is the bigger threat. TJ Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick, Devin Bush is out, but who's the twin brother there? His brother's on the, I can't remember his name, but his brother's on the Bills, but either way, he's another good player. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, he's going to bother me. Yep.
But either way, defense is so stacked overall. It's young. They
did lose Bud Dupree, however.
They did.
Which is a huge hit for their pass rush.
And Devin Bush earlier in the season, but still. Good to the team. Mental toughness prevailed in this one to me.
So I actually think, too, Alex Smith is probably the toughest player in football right now, just from a mental standpoint. That dude is an absolute beast. And
almost
2,
die in a field and come back and play on it. Come on.
And, bro, did you we're underselling how bad his leg was bleeding yesterday too. He got cleated hard. Yeah. You looked at that, through his pants, through his socks, it was just a red stain all over his there was a lot of blood. But I think too with the Steelers, I honestly feel like this loss was kind of good for them. The only reason I say that is because when you're perfect and you have to live up to that, look at what happened with the Patriots. I hate to keep bringing that up. But when you have a perfect season, it's kind of like you have all this pressure on you. And to be fair, they were one of the weirdest 11-0 teams I've ever seen. Like I wouldn't have picked them to go on like an 11-game winning streak like at all at any point. So I think this loss is actually going to help them in a lot of ways because it kind of takes that pressure off. Like we don't have to be perfect anymore. Like let's just play mistake-free football. Let's, our defense is going to carry us. Ben Roethlisberger's good in the playoffs. We have the weapons. So I think this is going to be a good week to recollect themselves, especially too next week because they're going to get a full week's rest. So it's going to be good for the Steelers, but kudos to Washington.
This is going to test their mental toughness. How do you bounce back after a loss?
They'll be fine.
Yep.
They'll be fine. Mike Tomlin, the fact that he, brought that
also,
team.
I heard a stat like not too long ago. The Steelers also under Mike Tomlin have never had a losing season.
Correct. Yeah, he is a phenomenal coach.
The worst
coach.
he's done
8-8.
is 8-8,
and they made playoffs. I think, right?
No, what? Well,
either way, they have never had a losing season under him. He's a great coach,
bro. They almost made playoffs last year with Mason Rudolph.
Yeah,
like you know what I mean. He's a phenomenal coach.
People, like you said, when they buy in, it's different. It's a different game.
Oh, absolutely.
Mike Tomlin's one of those guys. So
I agree.